have fulfilled purpose or not. You know, people have lived, and one of my best teacher is Miles Monroe. He's died long time ago. But you will know that within the space of just over 50 years that I lived, there was purpose fulfilled. Because after his time has passed now, over 10 years down the line, we are still being blessed. I have multiple of his books that I still read, and I revisit them once in a while to remind myself of the things that I learned from his books. That is a life of purpose, a life that is well lived and that was fulfilling. So that's the reason why we're looking at time as the effective way to actually maximize purpose fulfillment. And then now, as we journey together, just pay attention, you realize that time is finances, time is money. And when you master the use of time, money will become easier for you over time. When you master the use of time, money will become easier and you will continually fulfill purpose. Remember this in all of our conversation. We use time to get money so that we deploy money for us to now use the remaining time to fulfill purpose and destiny. We use time to get money so that we deploy money to then get time to fulfill purpose and destiny. And this is what I mean. I'll just give an instance. I hope I'm not going even quite faster than my notes now. You use time to acquire knowledge, to acquire skills, to build capacity, so that by the time you are done with that time, which is when you go to school, you acquire the education, or you go through apprenticeship, you go through whatever, you begin to create value. When you create value, people are paying you for it. When you're now getting that money, now you set that money into use. You deploy the money. How do you deploy the money? Investing the money, building businesses. Those are the ways that we build, that we deploy the money. When you are now deploying the money, you are now fulfilling purpose and destiny. You are fulfilling purpose and destiny. You just feel like, oh, there's a solution that you want to do. This is building business now. There's a problem that you have identified in our society that you want to build solutions for. You use the money that has been gathered. Now, not only cash, pay attention, not only cash. You gathered some money through the cash that you have saved. You gather money through the skills and the values that you have built of your own self. You gather money with that. You build the solution. You turn it into business. And then you are creating value for other people. When you are creating value for others, then they start giving you more money. That's the way it works. That's just the way it works. And you just feel a sense of fulfillment. That yes, I met some needs here. Yes, I created some solutions here. Yes, people are happy for doing this. People are happy for using the products and the services that I have. That's the way life works. And that's financial success through purpose fulfillment. Purpose fulfillment through financial success. Let me just talk through my slides so that I don't rush ahead too much. We are noting here that time is so limited. You can't recreate it, unfortunately. It's so limited for us all. Like I said, it can be 100 years, it can be 20, it can be 50, it can be 70. And everyone has 24 hours daily. Whether the successful, as we may think of it, or the unsuccessful, in quote, the poor, in quote, and the rich, in quote, 24 hours we all have. Investing time in learning, creating, or serving transforms into valuable outcomes. And I've tried to describe how this works in my earlier conversation. When we invest time in learning, in creating, in serving, then that transforms into valuable outcomes. Time shapes destiny. Sometimes we are always in a rush, and this is one of the troubles that comes with young people. And we are still, I mean, I'm still very young, but when we're much younger, we were enticed as well. And people who are very much younger right now, I'm talking of people who are in their teens, who are in their early 20s, they are also being enticed now and thinking that there's a quick way to enter into money, that you can just gamble your way. And that's why gambling is making a lot, is a big stuff now. And the people who are getting into the more wrong side of it, they're getting into fraudulent practices, 419 as we know it, because they are looking for that quick way to solve. Time is what shapes destiny. Time, when you understand how time works, you understand that there's no quick way to success. There's no quick way to fulfilling purpose. If you actually fulfill your purpose in one day, then you should die by the next day. If you fulfill all your purpose in one day, then there's no need for you the following day. Just go. Time shapes destiny. When we understand how time works, then we know that your life, the purpose fulfillment is spread over your lifetime. Purpose fulfillment is spread over your lifetime. I'll give you a very quick analogy. Right now, and maybe someone can be taking note here. When you're very young, you will have so much desire, so much aspiration. Uh, I think let me give someone as an example, someone who's quite popular that we might know, because I understand from this conversation, lots of us on the call will be Nigerians. There's this person that we might know, Pastor Irene. You know, he's a pastor. He's also a movie writer. He's a songwriter. All of this, they are not something that just came into fulfillment in one time. There would have been things that would be in him so long. And then with time, they started unfolding one after the other. So you will then find that at some point you're doing a lot of things because over time you have acquired mastered skills in one, you transfer into the other, you've transferred into the other, and you're now multiplying successes in various ways. So that's the way it works with destiny. You can have so much in you that I want to do this, I want to do that. Time is what you need to be able to fulfill all of that. You fulfill this part of it right now, probably in your first 20 years. You fulfill in another 10 years. The next vision becomes clearer. You fulfill another part of it. And that's the way it just keeps on going until your time is fulfilled. That's the way time works. So now, I explained to you, I told you how time equates to value, and this is what is just broken down here. Time is unique. We have said it can be renewed, but time is something that when you use it wisely, you can start to create value. You can start to build value. Purposeful time spent on education and skills and professional growth daily is what creates a value. When you go forward to someone, for example, to say, invest in my business, I want to create this solution. What people invest in is the people, the person behind the solution, not the product only. You can have the most brilliant product. You see, I do investing in stocks a lot. When I'm looking at those, I'm looking at not just the solution that the business is doing, I'm looking at who are the people behind it. What type of people are they? Take, for instance, the popular one that we would know, Tesla. Tesla, uh, the kind of person behind it will attract some people in investing in it. And in fact, will attract a lot of people. Why? Is someone who has a huge entrepreneurial skill. Is the go-getter, the go-getter. Whatever he sets his mind to do, he wants to do it. It is a visionary. So you invest in him, not just the fact that he has good solution to be done, but it's someone who is not going to get to the middle of it and just back down. So that's it. And what happened there is because he has over time built the skill, the education, he has built that professional skill ability. That's we're talking about Elon Musk. And he himself is even investing in the business. Most is one of the richest, top three richest in the world, by the stock that he has in Tesla himself. So, you know, what I'm just highlighting for you there is when you invest time for growth, when you invest time in growth, you are reading books, you are studying, you are investing in value, you are creating value. Pardon me if I'm not looking straight into here. I have another screen where the zoom so that's why I may be looking elsewhere. So you are investing in value when you are investing time for growth. And time invested in relationship is another thing. I'll give this very one, for example. Uh, um, Mr. Femi reached out to me and said, "Oh, we're doing this. I've seen some of the things that you're doing online, and would like you to be involved." If it was something that would also involve, getting some money, I'm sure he would think of me in that light and say, "Oh, I know this guy. I think he's good in this, he's good in that." And that's because there was some investment in relationship when we met. We worked together back then in Gokana. We were in NCCF. We worked together. We it was there are many people were going about gallivanting and doing all sorts of things, but it was time we spent together. That's time. You meet with some people, you rub minds with them, you talk to them, not only because you just feel like just playing around, not only because of that, you are investing in relationships. And when I mentor younger people, I let them know that, you might finish school with some of your friends right now, and you guys have parted ways. Keep connections with them. Keep connections with them. Those time that you're investing is in those relationships is creating value, because there will be the time when you want to do something. I have some people in my network that I want to get something done that will cost me some money. I just need to call them and talk to them, and they'll, okay, I know this guy that can do it for you for free. Don't worry, it's just going to get it done for you. What would have costed me some cash is costing me a relationship. Is financial money that is costing me, but is not cash getting out of my pocket. So investing time in relationships. And if you're getting anything from here now, is letting you know that the relationships that you build, you have to be intentional about them. The kind of setting, the kind of people that you work with, intentional about them. Who are these people? What kind of vision do they have? Where are they going? What's their orientation about life? What's their value? What do they hold in high esteem? What's their reasoning like? If you are still in school or whatever, if you identify someone who has entrepreneurial skill, invest in relationship with them. You may not have that so much of the enthusiasm, and I have some of my friends that so I'm not one who is the one that will go all out and create a product, an app in quote. I'm someone who is so much invested in career development and succeeding, and then transitioning from that into using my skill to build business. And I have my plan for that. But to create some kind of apps or products, I'm not very good with that. But I have friends who are so good with that. They can say, oh, we can do it like this, we can do it like this. So what do? I invest in relationship with them. Because in those relationship is flowing some money at some point or the other. I can then partner with you with my skill, invest my skill in your business, and then I have some financial gain. So what I'm saying to you, be intentional. Now, this is like I said, I'm not sharing the conventional stuffs. And I was going to mention this later in my slides, but I'll say it now. The basics of financial management, you must know it. I was not going to come teach basics because I feel like, a lot of people would have heard about, budgeting, keeping track of your income and expenses and this. Some of you would have had a lot in that light. If you have not and you don't understand it, you take that as a quick line of lesson from this conversation. Go and learn it. Now, I was not going to focus on that for a reason, and I'll tell you why now. Elon Musk is not looking into all the details of the income and expenditure. He has employed someone to do all of those, but he has the financial knowledge of what. So when he's talking to that person, he knows what he wants to see. So that's why you must have that financial knowledge, that financial management knowledge. So at some point, you will have to manage it all through. At the moment, I'm still managing all of those tracking and looking at the records. At some point, I need to now outsource that so that I have the time to now do much more important thing. And that's effective time management. Creating more time for yourself to do much more important thing. And then you might think, oh, maybe you're saving some money by not employing someone to do it. You will save more money on the long run if you create more time for yourself to do more important thing. Pay someone to be doing those little basic tasks now. Then over time, what you have invested your own time to build will create more money than you would have saved if you were doing everything yourself. That's what happens with CEOs. That's what happens with your boss at work. Um, I'm going uh, so much ahead of my slide now. The last point here says strategic planning and discipline transform time into meaningful achievements and milestones. Strategically planning, looking ahead. What are the things that I want to do? What are the things that I know is coming up? There's something I'm getting into that's costing me around about in Nigerian naira equivalent is about 80 million. So I was talking to my mom some months ago that I need to spend this much when it comes to this time and all of that. And she was like, oh, okay. Maybe so if you need money, we can loan it from this person. And I also have this little amount from my savings. You can take it. And so I was like, wait, just wait a minute. You know what? Your savings, just hold on to it. I don't need to borrow money from someone. This is a project I know long ago that is coming at this particular time. So I know I have the money to cater for it already. I don't even need to go and start to be borrowing money. That is planning strategically, knowing the various phases of your life. that at this point in my life, I would like to do this. So take for instance, unfortunately, I don't know the stages of the various people that are on this call. On this call, I'd have loved to give examples that relates with you. Um, but knowing that, for example, you want to study, you want to study, you want to do your master's or your whatever at some point in the next 2 years, strategically now positioning yourself. Okay, how much am I going to need by then? What will it cost me? What do I need to start saving and investing right now to be able to meet up with it? So intentional time management. Don't get to emergency. And this is where people often get to. That in emergency, suddenly this amount of money, we need to get it. A very quick example is someone who is now looking for money to pay their house rent. Did you not know that you pay house rent before? Did you not know that you have shelter over your head? That is very important. So intentional time management is strategically planning and disciplining yourself. I think I need to run a bit now. So I've run a bit on my slide. So I've talked on some of those things. Value, when you create value, it leads to success. I gave an example earlier. And purposeful use of time, building time intentionally. Using time intentionally, it builds competency for the marketplace. Uh, let me also tell you this way. You see, where you want to get to in life is where you want to use your time to do what's most important to you. And if you remember what I said, I think some people have joined along the line. What I said earlier, we have specific time frame, very limited. Purpose-driven life is one that the 100 years of age of age that you want to live, you have actually fulfilled purpose in those 100 years of age. And that can only happen when you have the time to choose the things that you want to do. You want to be able to reach out for people who are in Christendom, who are Christians. You want to be able to share the gospel to everyone. You want to use your own time to do it. What happens is people are using time to chase money, and they continue to chase the money until they don't even have time to now do anything else outside of chasing money. That's what happens a lot of the time. You are using time, all the 70 years, to chase, you need to get this money. You need to get this money. By the time you get the money, you don't even have time again to do things that are outside of getting the money. So, you do so much desire to be able to help others, but you just can't because you have used all those lifetime. So where you want to get to is where you can control your own time to do the things that you want to do. That's where you want to get to. One of the difference between the MD, for instance, and the very person at the bottom is that the MD can ask you to come any time of the day, and you go at the beck and call because you feel like all of your livelihood, your existence is dependent on what the MD is going to pay you. But the MD, he can decide to say, okay, I've worked so much in the past 1 week. I just want to take 2 days of everything. It can be sorted by every other person. He has his own time in his own control. That's where we all want to get to. So when you are building time, when you are building competencies in the marketplace, you are getting to the place where you can control your time more. You can now say that, okay, this job is not fitting for me. I have family now. It's it's taking too much of my time. I think I need to leave this job. You can make that decision without having to worry about, oh, if I leave this job now, where will the money come from? It comes from understanding the use of time, effective use of time. That's the way it works. When you use time, and I made a statement earlier, you use time to get money, you deploy the money so that you have time to do what matters the most. You use time to get money, both physical cash and value that you have built in your own self, so that you can now deploy those physical cash, investing in businesses, investing here and there. Your own value is money as well. I'm using that as money. The value that you have created, you can now tell someone that per hour, this is what I want to be getting. Per hour, this is what I want to be getting, because I have built that skill and ability that you can go elsewhere. If you think you can get it, fine, no problem, you can go. But I have created so much value in myself that I can now command a reward. That's money. And I can now say, okay, I just want to work 2 days in the week, and the remaining days, I want to do what's more important. I have my child. Okay, one day I want to focus on my children, just taking them out, because that's part of purpose fulfillment for you. Purpose fulfillment is doing what matters the most. People are going about chasing money, they forget about their family. People are, and this happens a lot I don't know how many of us are in the UK, but in the developed countries, people are doing morning and afternoon and night shifts. For those who are in Nigeria, you may not be very familiar with working overnight night shift. Night shift is a big thing in the UK here, because the rates that they pay for night shift is more than the day. So people are doing all of those, jeopardizing their health, jeopardizing their family, their children. The children don't have the time to get the learning and the teachings that a parent should give. And why? Because they are now using all of the time, like I said, all of their 70 years chasing the cash, chasing the money. We all at that point, at some point in our life. But the moment you are realizing this shift, getting this shift, you begin to know that, man, I need to move from this side of the scale where I'm using all of my time chasing the cash, to now building the money and the value so that I can use my time to do what matters the most. So, I think I've talked about financial literacy. It improves money management. If anyone is on this call and you don't know about money budgeting, you don't know about looking at your income, looking at your expenses, the one that you need to lower, the one that you need to increase, then you need to go and learn it. That was not going to be the focus. I'm not sure. Maybe Mr. Femi would have wanted me to go in that line, but I just feel like, some of us would have had this, a lot of time in our lifetime. Yeah. So, and I hope what I've been sharing is making sense. Let me know, before I continue, let me know what you have learned so far before I continue. And I'm going to give us a case study or a question later in my slides. But what have we taken so far? I hope it's making sense. I hope it's making sense. Let me know what you think. Let me see.
Definitely, it's been quite interesting, very quite unique, and there's a lot of things that I've actually learned. We can drop our comment as well. Things we've learned, we can drop it on the chat box. I can see people um, doing emojis just to give kudos to the learning
Mm,
point so far. I mean, great, great stuff. I think one very key thing I learned what I allow you to continue is um, investment. There are various areas you need to invest. You need to invest in your time, and the time in terms of investing in yourself and investing in relationship. Very key. And today we
Absolutely.
often think investment is only speaking to money. I mean, put your money in the form of any a kind of a financial asset. Maybe it could be some of this financial instrument and all of that. But financially as well, the other things you can actually invest into. First of all, invest in yourself, and much more invest in relationship. That's very critical and key. Thank you so much. So
Yes.
we can drop a couple of items as well on the chat box as Mr. Oyedepo continues. Thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead,
Thank
sir.
you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So, yeah, Miles Monroe emphasized, he says, if you want to become successful, seek to become a person of value. If you want to become successful, seek to become a person of value. So the question to you is, are you a person of value? What value do you bring? When you understand this, you get into interview and you let them know that you'll be missing a lot if you don't hire me. There are things I will bring to the table for you because you understand you're a person of value. And I don't want you to feel like, oh, he has to be after you have grown so old. If you start understanding this mindset, even from if you're very young in your career, you continue to build on that trajectory. The success that you'll be making will be so significant. Some of us started late a bit in our lifetime, but understanding this has helped us now. Now, what's the benefit of time management, effective time management? Productivity. It increases your productivity. It improves financial opportunities for saving and spending. When you read books, that's part of time management. You're investing in yourself now. You're reading books. That's when you know. I read a book sometime. I know we have some popular books. Um, uh, uh, The Richest Man in Babylon. We have Robert Kiyosaki, they explain the cash flow quadrants, rich dad, poor dad. We have, and I read a particular which says the automatic millionaire. The automatic millionaire. It simply means that one of the key concepts I shared was that you can automatically position yourself for financial success every month. Now, this is something I had heard before, but I didn't understand it properly until I read that book. Every month, putting something aside and putting it in the right place. There's the compound effect that happens, and in investing, there's what will be calculated to say the average cost of investment. If you are putting 10, if you are investing in FCMB, for those who may not know, FCMB is listing now. FCMB is listing on the stock exchange at 10 naira per share. If you are putting every month just 10,000 naira, 10,000 naira, the cost, the share price increases over time. But if you are putting 10,000 naira every month, over time, your cost of investment will still be lower than the value of your investment over time, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. Back in, was it 2018 or so, I invested in MTN shares. They listed back then 133 naira per share. And then just left it and it was doing okay. Now, their share price is 465 or even more. 465. That's if you automatically position yourself like that. And how did that happen? When I was reading book, invested my time in reading book, my productivity in that line it was increasing through the financial knowledge that I gained. And then I put that into action. And then, the results were coming from. So That's one of the benefits that you have with effective time management. Aligning actions with goals. So you know what is your long-term goal, what is your short-term goal, what deserves to take your money at a particular time. We'll do a bit of a quiz in a few slides now. What is meant to be prioritized at a particular time? That's what effective time management what it helps with. Financial planning. And there are people who also help with financial planning now. There are people who help with financial planning. They help you to project your life and say, okay, this is your age right now. This is the minimum expected life that you will live. Then what do you need to start doing? How much you need to start investing so that you have a certain amount of money by the time you are this old that will cater for your basic needs at the minimum. So financial planning, and that comes from when you understand, your the age that you are. You know how to also do some things. The the best time to invest is when you are single. You as the youngest. I tell the young people that I coach. I was still telling my niece few weeks ago. He says he's interested in this business. I said, you're interested in this business. Go and do it now, 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 now. Go and fail. If you will fail at it at all, go and fail now. So you understand how to succeed and how not to fail now. That's also understanding the timing that you are in your lifetime. But someone who thinks that they want a quick success, they will not know how to prioritize their operations, the choices that they make. Then structured time use helps allocate resources effectively and avoid financial pitfall. So because of time, I think I'm just going to skip a few of this. Time plus purpose, it equals fulfillment. When you are time with living that period of time with a sense of purpose, then you are fulfilled. You just have that fulfillment. You find that there are some people, and especially people who win lotteries. I should have found the statistics for us. The statistics is not admirable. People who win lotteries who commit suicide. They because they didn't understand purpose in the first place. They had that cash that just comes on them suddenly. They don't even know what to do with it. They commit suicide. There's no purpose. So time combined with purpose is what gives you fulfillment at the end of the day. You will live 70 years, 60 years, 100 years, and you know that, yes, you have lived meaningfully. Now, let's just wrap it up with what you need to do. What you need to do. And then we'll take some practical application of it. The first step that you should do is to assess your values and your visions. Define where do you even want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What will bring you fulfillment? And this is not something you will know everything at first. You need to start stepping into the waters as well, trying things out. And that's where you get to know what you would interest you, what you would enjoy the most. You volunteer. And this is where, for those of us who are in church, we understand that church is not just, is a place where we find salvation. And it's also a place where you find fulfillment of purpose and destiny. Because when you are doing things, maybe you are in media, maybe you are in the choir, maybe you are in the evangelism, you go out talking to people, maybe you are in the drama. When you put yourself forward doing things, you start finding the things that you enjoy. One of the things that when you get into mentorship, if you come under mentorship with myself or anyone, one of the things that you do is self-assessment, personality assessment. Personality assessment is dependent on what you have done. You never know how much of yourself until based on the things you've done, the things you did in school, the things you did amongst your friends. Your friends say, "Oh, guys, let's plan a party." You plan the party. You find that through that party you just enjoyed it. Event management is just something that you enjoy. It's because you did something. So stepping out will help you in starting to identify, what will drive you, what would be your purpose, what would be what you enjoy, and then what's also embedded in your heart. This is for younger people. I tell, pay attention to the things that are strongly embedded in your heart. If you read, I think I would recommend one of the books of Miles Monroe. I can't remember the title now. I'll try to find it maybe during the Q&A. If you understand that when you are doing things, and I think let me just focus on what I'm saying here so that I don't digress. But I'll find the book and recommend to us. Define your destination is what I'm just bringing our attention to. Identify what are your values, integrity, family. Family is important to you. At some point in your life, you need to now choose what you want to do, whether you put it at the edge of your family or you put family first. So you define your core values, your long-term aspirations, those things that are embedded in your heart. That's one of the things I learned reading the book, one of the book of Miles Monroe, that there are those dreams that you had that over time it became so blur because of the situations of life that you feel like it's probably not possible. So you pay attention to them. They define your purpose, they define your destiny. Then understanding your financial situation. What's your understanding of money? What do you understand about money? What's your knowledge about it? If you need to increase, then need to go and do that. Knowing what your income and expenses are, what debts mean, good debts, they are good debts, they are bad debts, there's what's called assets, liabilities, what those things mean. You need to understand all of those. That's the second thing that you must do. Then the third is now making strategic decisions that aligns with purpose and effective time management. One of the things that I'm happy about myself and my wife is we understood that time must not just be going like that. That I'm just sitting down, I'm just scrolling through social media. The social media, some people built it so that you can spend 5 hours just scrolling. It's intentional. It's unhandy. You just keep scrolling and scrolling. It's intentional. But you must be the one to know that you are not effectively using time. So your daily actions now must now be focused on how can I effectively use this time. Is it going out with creating relationships with people, with the right set of people? Is he attending conferences? So, when we attend conferences, not just because we want to go and waste time or we want to go and snap picture. Yes, I'm right here at this conference. Or we are investing time. When we are attending webinars like this, and this is something you're already doing, you are investing time in something that will shift your mindset and update the way your system is going to be working afterwards. So make strategic decisions that aligns with purpose and effective use of time. Now let's do a quick sample. If you have based on, at least I believe our minds will have expanded based on some of the things that we've had now. If you have the option to go to school, that's A, and starting an apprenticeship, that's B. on your last savings, like you have 1 million naira, and the apprenticeship for whatever you think it might be, maybe fashion designing or whatever it is, it costs maybe 800,000. And the school, going to school, it will cost you 1 million. What will you choose? Let's see in the chart. What will you choose? What will you choose? A or B?
Let's respond to that on the chat. What will be your response? Is it to go back to school, right? Or to focus specifically in learning a specific craft? Building your skill. What will you choose? Let's drop our responses on the chat.
Hmm. B, okay. There's no right or wrong answer, just so you know. There's no right, there's no wrong answer. So B, that's good. And if you can also add a little more comment about why you will choose it, maybe just a quick chat about why you will choose it. Why will you choose A? Why will you
Yeah.
choose
So
B?
so sir, I would
Yes,
have
sir.
so maybe they can just unmute themselves, their mic,
Okay,
and just
yes,
speak. You
yes,
know,
yes,
their reasons for picking that option.
yes, 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 absolutely. That would be great. That would be great. So yeah, if anyone wants to building skills because school without skills is calm. Okay, okay, okay. If you want to unmute and talk, please feel free to. Feel free to.
So it's an
Feel free.
interactive session. You can just unmute yourself and let's have this going.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Dele Oluwatayo. Yes. Which option are you going for? We can't hear you, sir.
Mr. Dele, you're muted. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Okay, it's
All
muted.
right. So while we wait for Mr. Daly, can someone else just unmute themselves? I'm seeing other
Yeah,
comments and let them
yeah,
speak.
yeah. So someone says beauty skill is going to school without skill is scam. Someone says choosing A because it's a means of honing my skill
Mm,
and
mm.
becoming the best version of myself.
Wow. Wow.
Great, 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 great. Anyone else? Fuad, yes, you said A. Do you want to unmute and just let us know why?
Yes. Or at least two persons to kindly unmute themselves and let's speak. Two persons.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, it depends on the reason why I choose A is based on what I'm prioritizing. If I'm going for a long-term goal, if I'm to achieve a long-term goal, for instance, I will probably go for school. But if I'm to like achieve something like within the space of short time just for survival, I can go for an apprenticeship. Thank you.
Mm, thank you. Thank you. Good point. Good point. Yes. Yes. One more person, and I'm going to talk on it. One more person. One more person. Like I said, no. Okay, someone has put a comment. No right or wrong. Good evening, sir. Building skill while going to school. I love both school and skills. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And then Oluwapelumi says, I will go with A because I believe there's this exposure, getting a proper education gives you that you can translate into whatever it is you learn during an apprenticeship. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Well done. Now, I said that there's no right or wrong, and I intentionally put this as a case study for us to analyze. The lesson I want us to notice, there is no one straight jacket fits all. In the previous slide, I explained to you, you need to understand your purpose. You need to assess your values, your core personal values, and your long-term aspirations. We're talking about purpose fulfillment here. Now, the people who will go through school first, they might end up in a similar situation with the people who go through apprenticeship first. Prioritization is what made their difference. You can do apprenticeship. At some point, you have enough cash, you go and do MBA. This MBA you're doing now, you have first-hand, hands-on skill on building business. So you can now own your skill further in that area. The people who go to school, they can start with that. They are going to understand some rudiments that someone who has gone through apprenticeship may not understand. So at the end of the day, you might still go to school and still build a business, but then your line of understanding, your line of thought, the kind of solutions that you will create is going to be different from someone who started with apprenticeship. The line of solution that they will create will be different. So that's why it's important that I don't compare myself. And if there's another message that you should pick up, is that there's no comparison. Don't compare. Don't. This one is off what I want to say, but there's something I'm writing about, and it's to understand that there is there are stages to growth and there are stages to success. Where person A started their success journey is different from where person B starts their success journey. And so you might find that this person is in the 5th generation. If you start comparing and you are probably 2nd generation of people who have started to get it right. Your previous fathers, they have not been getting it right. You are the one that have just started getting it right, having the right mindset. And this one is in the 5th generation of, the inheriting wealth. In fact, if you compare yourself, you are on the wrong note. So that's just by the way. Making a choice of whether you do this or that must be driven by your purpose, your values, your long-term vision, your long-term agenda. Very important. Another one. Oh man, wow. Time is running. Another one, I have one more. Another one, if you have the option of going to a location by road, I was going to put Abuja, but just in case some of the people who join this call are from the UK. So, yeah, if you're going to a location by road, that's option A. Or by flight, that's option B. For a conference, what will you choose? What will you choose? So just because of time, I'll brush through this one. Now, you will be faced with this option and similar options like this a lot of the time in your lifetime. A lot of the time we've thought, oh, going by flight will be the most reasonable. It will cost you, but it will be the most reasonable because it saves you time and all of that. But it's not always the only option. This is where effective time management comes in. If you have known what you want to do a month, 2 months before, even a few days before, you can set yourself, take a couple of books. I've been so busy in my lifetime, I've not even read book in the past 5 years. Now, if I go by road, someone is driving, I just sit back, I can be reading the book. That's a good use of my time. I will set out early enough so that I get to the conference, I don't get there late, and I do something. For another person, this is where value also comes in and your vision. So your vision of what you want to achieve. Another person, their lifetime has been so busy, they don't have so much of that time. They want to get there early, right on time, meet with some people before the conference starts, and do some business deals if possible, create some relationships, and they finish right on time, get back on time as well. It depends on your time management. Your time management. And the reason I'm sharing this is because we don't all get there overnight. That, they have taught me that if I have the option of going by road or by flight, let me go by flight, even though it will cost me a lot. Let me go by flight. No. You will get there someday. But while you are still managing your cash, your financial, your cash flow, you then think, okay, I don't have that much of money to go by flight. How well can I still use that time? Let me take some books, or there's some relationship I've been struggling to build. This person I've been wanting to call for so long. I can use that time on the road to call the person and just talk to them. Or there's this mentor I've been trying to get in touch with. Let me use that time on the road to. That's effectively planning your time. I hope someone is getting something. So it's not one straight answer. Then when you have grown over time and your finance is able to take it, that you can, just buy a flight ticket and you go and come, then that's more reasonable for you to do. But until then, effective use of time, gradually, over time, will help you to make better decisions again and again. The last one I'll share just before, oh my God, I didn't even think I'll get to here. Get this time. The last one is, if you have the option of buying a house now, that's option A, or renting a house and investing the money, that's option B. What will you do? You have okay, I was going to talk in pounds, but let me talk in pounds. You have 100,000 pounds now. Buy a house now, or still be renting a house. It costs 1,500 per month, but invest that 100,000. What will you do? Option
So
A or
everyone,
B?
there's no wrong or right answer, by the way, right? So what
Absolutely.
will you do in such situation? Will you go ahead to buy the house, or you will choose to still rent while you invest the money, maybe in any form of investment that can generate you more cash? What will you do? What will you do?
Hmm. Okay. Anyone wants to take on this one before I talk about it? What will you do? What will you do?
Can someone just
And
unmute themselves because
yeah.
of our time and let us speak to it? What will you do? For me, I would rather choose to still rent, right? Because I do know the time value of money. It can choose to, depending on what, and that's where the skill come in and knowledge, depending on what you're investing the money into, right? It can triple in as much we understand that. I also appreciate, but there's some asset that can triple that. Those that invested in Tesla a couple of years back are really reaping the reward now because the stock value is over 10,000% of that figure, right? So
Mhm,
no
mhm,
lands whatsoever can really compare to that. So if I'm in that shoe, I would choose to rent and invest, that money into an asset that can generate enough cash flow that will not only meet my rent, but as well generate other earnings to build other passive incomes, progressively. That's
mhm.
my knowledge. But again, like,
Yeah.
I think it's open for other persons. So I'm seeing some comments. Yeah. Maybe let me just read them out. Oluwakwelu said, I will go with option A because I believe that there's this exposure getting a
Oh,
proper education gives you that you can translate. Oh, sorry, I think I was reading
that's previous
the
one. Yeah.
previous exactly. Someone says, if that is my total savings, I will keep renting, then invest in a profitable business. That's Daniel Oyeniro.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Mr. Dele said, I will go with option A, which is
Mm.
to buy a house. Mr. Dele, can you just, maybe
Unmute.
provide further context while you choose to go with option A? If you can, if you can hear us and speak now, sir. Mr. Dele, why do you think, again, there's no wrong or right answer. why do you think option A is a better option for you? If you can speak, if not, you can just drop your response on the chat. Thank you so much. We have another response here from Samsung. Would have loved to know who this person is, by the way. Maybe you can just rename that. Let's know who you are. Said, I will invest the money because more money will be generated to buy house later.
Later.
Well, again, there's no right or wrong answer.
Right or
Answer
wrong.
by the way. So it's
Okay.
thanks for your feedbacks.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yes, this is the idea. It just gets you into thinking. Make sure you're thinking before you're making the decision. And I would have loved to hear what Mr. Daly would say. But the option A, one of the reasons why option A would appeal is the value that you have, the state that you have in your lifetime. If you're married with 3 children or something, and it depends on the situation of how well your family is knitted in understanding things, you may want to choose option A because that is very important. That is very important as a value for you and where you are in your lifetime. In your lifetime, renting a house will come with its own challenge, especially if you want to raise your kids as well. Depends on where do you want to rent the house, if it's not going to cost more. So this is now about looking at the purpose that you are trying to fulfill at that stage of your life, and what are the values that are important to you. So, sometimes it's not very straightforward. I would go for renting a house and investing, but there will be the time. And in fact, I was actually faced with this exact option, and I won't tell you what I went for. So there's no one straight jacket to all the thing, but you must understand, going back to those 3 things that I said, define your purpose, your values, understand financial literacy. And this would also come with understanding financial literacy. If you have little to no knowledge about investing in stock, and you just feel, I have this 100,000, let me go and be investing in stock, you have not invested first in the knowledge of that stock, trading in stock. Yes, you've wasted money. So I'm taking you back to those 3 key things: identify your purpose and your values, understand financial literacy, and then make strategic decisions. Let me just round off very quickly. I'm so sorry for the time that we have taken. So understand that time management, there's no graduation. And I believe with the practical questions that we have looked at, you can see that it changes. While at some point, maybe when you're very young or you are in a different state of your life, you can invest and all of that. At some point, the choice will change. And it's part of fulfilling purpose. Purpose is not just about doing career, recreating yourself and the knowledge that you experience that you have accumulated over your lifetime into your children is purpose fulfillment. So when you focus on career alone and you leave children trying to figure life on their own, you are already failing at purpose. So it changes over time. So time management as well is something that you continue to refine, to get better, to get better. Priorities will change, and you have to adapt to change. There's a message Miles Monroe preached about planning and managing change. If you can find that. So priorities will change over time. Just make sure that you are improving every day. So in the next 1 hour you're spending of your life, look at it. Are you doing what's of value to you? Are you improving yourself? So those are the things. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. The next step, make sure you are taking action on what you've heard. Very important. And if you want to book a career coaching session as well, You can just scan the QR code on the screen there, and it will take you to where you can book a session with me, a free 30-minute session we can just discuss, and I'll help you on your journey. If you connect me on LinkedIn, I post regularly on the things that would help you on your journey. And finally, there's a webinar, a free online webinar I'm doing in the next 3 weeks on 14th of November, sorry, not 7th, 14th of November, Friday. And it's titled Leading Change in the Workplace. I'll be speaking with a very, very good friend of mine, Misan. Uh, she was one of the people who recruited me into Deloitte, and we've just that's 2016, 9 years ago, and we've had good relationship. Very fantastic person, great experience. So it would be great if you join us in that conversation. How can you lead change in the workplace? Any questions just before we go? You can
Wow.
register for this by just going to, okay, I think the registration link is there, bit.ly. I'll put in the chat as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
please, it will be great for. I think we should all register for that event. It's not paid, it's free. So please let's try to as well register, and I believe we'll be blessed as well. If you've been blessed, you've learned one or two things from today's session. Can you just drop an emoji, drop a comment, just give an emoji to our speaker, Mr. Oyetunde Oyedepo. And let's just drop. I'm here to see any. Let's appreciate our wonderful speaker. It's been a sweet and practical session. I mean, the dimension was quite different from the usual, but it was well inspiring as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I see that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Oyedepo. I mean, this is mind blowing. I've learned a couple of things as mentioned. Listed some of those things I learned earlier. Investment in yourself, investment in relationship, you know, as well as money. While you were speaking, something came to me, and I think this is an analogy that that some of us will probably know in terms of the three critical thing of life. You have time, you have money, and you have energy. Time, money, energy. While you are young, as children, you have time, you have the energy, you run about, we all run about everywhere. As kids, as children, we have the energy and we have the time. We don't bother about any other thing then, we have the word, at our bacon, right? But we don't have money, so to say. So we spend time and energy to start making money. Well, how? We went to school, we learned, we graduated and we started working. And then we find ourselves in the second bucket where we have the energy, we have the money, but the time is limited because there's a lot of things we are chasing, right? You have your work to do. I mean, some persons in Lagos, for example, you would have, left your house around 5 a.m. and you come back around 10 p.m. at night. I mean, that's no time now. Even though you have the energy, you're making the millions, but
Mm,
there's really no time. And you move to the third bucket, as we grow older, right? Where, you probably have time because there's less work for you. Maybe you've retired, there's less for work for you. You probably have the money, but there is no more energy.
mm,
You're at that age where, you probably don't have enough strength to do much thing. And that's where whatever legacy you've done or you've left behind begin to speak for you. And so in that bucket you find yourself today, maybe you're in the first bucket, the second bucket, the third bucket. Wisdom is profitable to direct. I believe most of us here actually in the second bucket where you have the money, some money, right? And energy.
mm,
Try to ensure that you still have some time, as we've learned today, to build more skills, right? So that can make more money, right? So that you can make more money and then you can do a lot more for yourself. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Oyedepo. This is quite amazing. Do we have questions? I believe we can have the presentation slides, sir, after now, so that
yeah.
we can all also look through it and review. Do we have questions, please? If you have questions, yes, the code will be you can use the link, or okay, maybe you can as well drop your LinkedIn profile, sir. I'm seeing people
Oh,
asking
okay.
about, please, I want the code and all of that.
Okay.
Do we have questions? Anyone with a question, or you need some level of clarification based on what Mr. Oyedepo has mentioned today, right? You want some quick, confirmation on maybe where you are currently, or how you can maximize, your current position. Do we have questions? Comment, please. It can be practical. Maybe you want to share your own experience on how, you can be better at your work, right? Or maybe in discovering more of yourself. Any question, please? You can raise your hand or just unmute yourself, or drop your question on the chat box, so that can be taken quickly. Thank you so much, Mr. Oyedepo. Quickly.
Yes, sir.
Just to also add, one of the key things I learned there is the aspect of sharpening your skill, right? Using your time to not only to build yourself, but to sharpen your skill, right? Your time to read books, right? And the books are not necessarily academic books. And I'm speaking to those, maybe you are still in school today, right? It's not only academic books you should read while on campus. I mean, spread your tentacle, right? Again, it's not everyone that finished with first class. And I mean, this is not to say that education is not fantastic. It's quite important. You need to go to school, but it's not everyone that finished with first class end up doing very great. I mean, and that speaks to life is not only listening to your academic grades. It's about how much of life knowledge do you have. So as you are schooling, also ensure that you also learn a lot from school. In fact, it's not what we even study at the end of the day, we end up using. Some persons studied, you know, um, maybe agriculture, and they are doing theater arts. I mean, there's really no correlation whatsoever. I mean, no correlation, but
Mhm.
it's based on their skill or their passion. So while on campus, for those still on campus, let's ensure also learn other skills to that. It helps us. Who knows what tomorrow holds? But again, you can carve that for yourself. Any question as we wrap up today's session? Any question? Any question? We are wrapping up now. We're wrapping up now. Do we have any question for our speaker? Does it mean that it's quite clear for us? We've grabbed that all, and I think Mr. Oyedepo has also given the privilege for a 30 minutes free kind of session with him, right? I believe when you scan the code, you're able to. I don't know how they will get the code, but I believe when they get the slides, so
Okay,
the
let me.
code is on, but at the moment, so you can just take
Mhm.
your phone now and scan the QR code, right? You can scan now. Of course, definitely the slides will be shared, to us all. I know we're yet to share the previous slide. We will compile all together and forward it to everyone. As far as you've registered for this month, the blueprint, you definitely get the slides as well as links to the recordings, right? So you have the QR codes on the screen now, so you can scan that now, at least for now, so that you can, if you need to book a session with Mr. Oyedepo, you can book that session with him. It's wonderful once again, sir. Thank you so, so, so much. I've
Thank you, sir.
really learned a lot from today's session. Very practical, by the way. Practical, by the way. Okay, I'm seeing a comment here from Mr. Daly. He said, thanks a lot to our speaker for the session tonight. It's really an eye opener. God bless you, sir. May God continue to increase you in every aspect in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much once again. We get keep engaging you, sir. I believe we'll probably get some other feedbacks, and where we need, we will reach out to you as well, sir. Thank you so much,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Oyedepo. Can we give Mr. Oyedepo once again a clap, please? Just your emoji clap. Let's appreciate
Thank you,
him
sir.
once again. It's been amazing. Thank you so much, so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you everyone for engaging as well. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Yeah. So this is a wrap for the Blueprint this season. I mean, we've had 3 consecutive sessions and we've wrapped up with finances. You can't do much without knowing how to carve your finances effectively well. Do look forward to other programs coming up. And for those that look forward to getting our daily quote, I've seen someone dropping its contact. We will also engage you after now. So if you want to get our daily code, please drop your contact. If you've not been getting before now, we'll surely, add it to our catalog and you'll be getting that on a daily basis. So until we meet again, I will say keep growing, keep becoming better. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a restful rest of the day. Enjoy, everyone. Bye.